What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the spring annual night game. I'm Charlie Alamo, joined by my co-commentators Sven Eisman. I'm ready to do some girls lacrosse for you, but tune in later as well, as we'll be doing some boys lacrosse. We're getting ready to send it down to the intros of the players right now.
Sven Eisman here. Welcome to 2018 Gales Lacrosse at our annual night game. The Gales were just introduced. We're getting ready to face off here. Captains this year for the Lady Gales, Shannon McNamee and Antoinette Portnoy, both seniors, numbers 13, numbers 10 on your score sheet. Lady Gales are coming off an exciting 14-6 victory against Holy Trinity, and probably going up against a little bit more formidable opponent tonight against the varsity program for St. Francis Prep, the Terriers. So we got Terriers Gales here tonight. So Charlie, what are you expecting here tonight from the Lady Gales?
Well, with all honesty, I'm expecting a bit of exchange of offense. I'm expecting a high-scoring match, considering the way these two teams have played in the past couple of games this season, especially the Gales. But I'm interested to see how the defense plays out this game, because obviously it's easy to score a decent amount of goals. Well, not easy, but it's more understandable to score a lot of goals in a sport like this as opposed to like soccer. So to see how the defense plays out will be interesting indeed.
Ariana Paz, the goalie for St. Mary's, had a relatively high number of saves in her last game. She had 17 saves, so that might be a key. Especially the Gales this year are considerably young for a varsity team. They have a lot of underclassmen on the team and very few seniors, but what they lack in age, they definitely made up and showed up with spirit against Holy Trinity earlier this week.
So Sven, what do you think about the defensive setup? What do you think should be the main goal of the defense of St. Mary's here tonight? Playing at the goal, playing in the field? What do you think?
Well, in lacrosse, there is very, very little checking allowed, and what they're really going to have to do is move their feet and try to limit the close-range shots on Ariana Paz. If they can get them to shoot from 15, 20 feet out, I think Ariana showed some considerable talent in making saves. But if these Terriers run wild and, free to the net, it could be a long night for the Gales. So I think the big thing is just trying to keep in front of them, keep them away from the net, and, try to get longer range shots so that they can pick up the ball and then make their own runs.
Well, we're just about ready to begin the face-off here, as it looks like number 10, Antoinette Portnoy, will be facing off for St. Mary's, hoping to get her team the possession, start off the game. And it looks like it goes to Prep. 20's running with it now, rolling with it. Slowing down the offense a little bit here to start up. No rush in the beginning, really. And here comes a little bit of a close-range shot on Paz, and it's good already. You start off the game with a couple of goals, and you got yourself a bit of a morale boost. We were talking about that pre-game. That's exactly what they didn't want to happen, a short-range shot on Paz. But what do you think about it?
It did look like they initially had a difficult time marking their man because she ran free, and there was also one or two other people in front of the net that were not marked. So they're going to have to find their numbers and mark them.
And so here comes another face-off. After every goal in lacrosse, there is a face-off. This time yet again, it ends up, a little bit of a tussle there. It's going to St. Mary's. The crowd loves that. Something notable about these annual night games is that the crowd is always so cheerful. Really gives you the sense of community that exists here at the school. And so it'll be St. Mary's ball. Here's Curran. Curran pushing it. She's defended heavily. It was knocked out of the stick, and it goes to prep. Oh, still staying with Mary's of a hit there. Looked like a little bit of a check with the stick. Curran over to number 12, Jasmine White. White outside. Runs with it inside. She's close to the goal now. At the X. White. Tried to get it to number 3. Isabel Santos, but it looks like, it'll stay with St. Mary's. Sven, something about this that is striking me is the pacing. What do you think the best speed to play at is in a game like this with these type of teams and whatnot?
A lot of that really depends on the depth of the team, who they have coming off the bench. And obviously, passing is key in controlling the pace, because the more you have individuals making individual runs, you got people standing around, and you have probably key people getting tired more quickly. So, hopefully they'll be able to utilize passing, get everyone involved, keep everyone fresh.
St. Mary's, of course, hoping that it stays on this side of the field for a majority of the game. They do not want to get for the Terriers to get in close range to Ariana Paz. The pass is deflected by St. Francis. Oh, good defense there. Number 11 on St. Francis got knocked down. Russell checked that, and it'll be Terrier's ball. Terrier's pushing it now. Nine rolling with it in close field to the goal.
Another unmarked player. She can't get that kind of a free run. Got to put a little bit of resistance here. So St. Mary's is going to have to doing a little better job around their net now, marking.
Yeah, number 9 had that goal earlier on Ariana Paz within 30 seconds of the game starting. So we'll see what happens here. This is definitely the range that St. Mary's doesn't want to be playing at, though. This side of the field, this close to the goal. In a similar manner to soccer, Sven, the ball happens to stay on one side of the field for a particularly decent amount of time. So, as we see now, St. Francis Prep players at the X now. Another close range goal.
Well, got to give credit where credit is due. That was a pretty good pass. She was marked, but she cut right in front of her defender. Got a nice pass from the back of the net, and then threw one low and beat the goalie Paz.
Also think St. Francis has done a wonderful job within the first 5 minutes of this game of playing at the X. So the X, of course, being the area behind the net. Their ability to utilize that to sort of confuse the goalie is key to a couple of quick points, as we see here. Score is 2-0. Terriers lead. Jasmine White got the ground ball on that one, so she'll run with it. Again, heavy pressure here by the Terriers. Terriers knocking the sticks in order to get the ball out. We got 20 minutes remaining here in the first. And Sven, we talked about this pregame, the defense of St. Francis. This is exactly what St. Mary's didn't want to see. These double teams,
It's not going to be too difficult for St. Francis to identify who the key players are in St. Mary's because, again, Jasmine White, who was a 3-goal scorer against Holy Trinity, made a great run the first possession. She just made another really nice run. But from behind her, you could see that she was double-teamed. One person slowed her down, and one person knocked it out of her stick. So, again, they're going to have to trust passing the ball a little bit, or else they're going to double-team the big players on St. Mary's and get fewer opportunities at the goal. This is Portnoy coming into the net, makes a nice move, and scores. Nice overhand move by Portnoy. She went left side, crossed over to right side with the stick, and went hard on the goalie. Nice job, Miss Portnoy.
Makes it a 1-point game on that one. We got 18:30 remaining here in the first.
One of the other big aspects of any lacrosse game is who picks up the most loose ground balls. You got a ground ball on, that's possession right there. You have to have the person that can go in aggressive and win that ball and have the confidence to be able to pick it up, scoop it up with their stick. Got a loose one here, and again it's Portnoy. Portnoy getting a little foul from the Terriers, a little check on her arm. And here she comes.
I have to agree that picking up ground balls is very important, but also something you have to admire, as we just see here. St. Francis just knocking it out of the sticks of St. Mary's. I mean, this double-team defense seems to be working in their favor very heavily.
I think Portnoy's a little bit, free down. Nice save. No, that's a goal. That actually snuck in the post. The Antoinette Portnoy also is would like a little bit more communication. Both times, last time it was White who got double-teamed. Both the checks that knocked the ball loose came from people who were in pursuit. And, you don't always know, especially on this turf where it's so quiet. It seemed like she had no idea they were coming. Didn't really give her the opportunity to protect the ball.
Perhaps one of the more important things for the attackman in this case would definitely be protecting the ball, because if you lose it too quickly, then you give them the opportunity to go back to your goalie. And in this case, St. Mary's doesn't want to see it go back to Paz's goal right now. It's a 3-1 goal game. So to see it go back to the St. Mary's goal would be rough for the Gales.
A big face-off here.
Ends up in the hands of Prep. 17 pushing it now. Slows down with it. Slings it over to 20. 20 deep outside. Here's one.
That was good defense. They closed the lane there.
They're going to have to continue doing that if they want to get it to the other side.
This passing around the outside also is a way that, Prep gets a little bit more, rest. None of these crazy runs. They get to kind of just pass it around, look for their gaps. Better job with St. Mary's closing those gaps this time.
Another part of the team that's getting a lot of rest right now is the defense for the Terriers, because if it remains on this side of the field, obviously these guys are going to be...
It was a really nice save by Paz there. She had a point-blank shot, and she was able to knock it down.
And, I mean, that 17-save game last time out, I mean, you must expect something like that again, but, we'll see how it works out. A different team, different time, so... Here's Holt now. Holt loses it, but regains it, looks like. Oh, Terriers pick it up, number 15. What they call it now? Going to the hands of St. Mary's.
Olivia Holt, one of the 3 seniors on this St. Mary's team. Makes a nice pass up to number 12. Jasmine White, make another run right down the middle. Kind of blocked off. Shannon McNamee, sorry. Over in the far left corner, picked off by defenseman for Prep. Nice pass midfield. Smitty's making a run. Again, the speed on Prep is a little bit more daunting than the speed on St. Mary's. There was a whistle before that shot. Let's see what the refs call. Definitely wasn't a goal. Looks like they're calling it might be a penalty shot. She gets to go in point blank. Once he blows the whistle, everyone can follow.
And it looks like it'll be just that.
And she gets the goal. She goes down low to the left side. We got a 4-1 game here. 14:40 left in the first half.
And if you notice, Sven, the shots on goal are coming in the same area, this sort of left side of the goal, right when somebody turns around the circle.
You would look at, you look at Miss Paz. Left side of the goal is her weak side because she does not have, it's her non-stick side. So they're going to the side where, you look right now, she's right-handed. She got the stick on the right side, so it leaves a little bit more of an opening down at the bottom of her feet. A little bit harder to move that stick over that quickly.
Another face-off. Ends up in the hands of Prep. Prep doing an amazing job of winning the face-offs here. One pushing it now. Inside. A fast break opportunity. Great cut inside to get that goal.
Well, yeah, Charlie, I think the word fast break is a little bit of a misnomer. I mean, that was a face-off. There was no break there. They just came right down the middle. And again, that's one of the tricky things about girls lacrosse. There's very little contact allowed. So you have to really move your feet early and make them turn, or else they're going to walk, uninhibited right to the goal. We got one of our first subs right now. We have number 17. Kelly Fabio coming in. Gail's looking for a little bump of energy here. Fabio did score a goal in the last game.
St. Francis with speed up the field. Another one. Oh, this is a scoring barrage by St. Francis.
Well, this is St. Francis. This is their varsity team. I'm sure they have many more upperclassmen than the Gales do here. St. Francis Prep is billed as the largest Catholic high school in America. So
they must certainly feel like it now.
Yeah. Making good runs, making good shots. This time the scorer decided to go high right, kind of change it up on the goalie, and made a nice shot.
We got a 6-1 goal count. Terriers advantage.
It looks like St. Mary's took their first timeout. We'll be back.
of course, this customary spring lacrosse game. Just one half of the equation of the beautiful night we got set up. Perfect weather for this. We got the barbecue at the side. A couple of teachers running the barbecue. That's customary here as well in these night games. You got the big crowd. You got the brotherly love. Everyone's feeling it right now, especially up in the broadcast booth. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm Charlie Alamo, joined by my co-commentator, Sven Eisman. Tune in. Next game, we got the boys facing off against Holy Trinity. Another commentator we have with us today, Kelly Oubre. Kelly, what you think about this game so far?
I think so far it's been a fast-paced game. A lot of back and forth. If Mary needs to get on the high side, they need to start moving the ball around and really just tagging the man on defense. It's been far too easy.
Oh, we see here St. Mary's. Well, actually, St. Francis running with it. Another shot on goal. It goes. Oh, just another one. Ran right into the box. Yeah. Oh, wait, no, not the box. My fault. The circle. Oh, my. I'm messing up terms now. Portnoy scoops up that face-off, and she retains it.
Mary's pushing it up the court. Portnoy flying through a lot of red shirts. Passes it to Bandari. Bandari kicks it out. Moves it out into open space. Gets it to 12. And it's stolen by Francis.
You know, St. Francis Prep, they've been really doing a great job defensively. Oh, but a yard sale by Jasmine White, knocking it out of the stick of number 20. But St. Francis Prep will retain it. 3 running inside now. Close to the goal. She goes to the X. Pass out to 9. 9 in goal range behind the net.
Gets it around, looks for her options.
A couple of calls more recently have been coming on this side of the field, definitely. St. Francis with a couple of penalty calls going in their favor, a couple against their favor. They definitely want to keep it on this side, though. The net's been a good spot for them so far. Goal count is 7-1 Terriers.
Attacks the
run inside here.
Attacks the net. Gets deep position. Goes around the X. With speed. Met by Holt and stopped. Here comes Mary's. Strips. Gets it back. Santos pushing it. Stolen by Francis once again. The swarming pressure defense. Putting 2 on the ball handler at all times. And it's been effective.
That was almost a steal there by White. But again, here comes number 1, St. Francis. Nice little overhand
Moving
pass.
with purpose. Gets it to 4. 4 swings it around. Deep position once again for number 9. Behind the X. Moves around.
Penalty call before the shot.
Has kicks it out. Goes to Bandari. Bandari swarm.
Looks like Bandari might have stepped out there. It's been on this side of the field way too long, is the way St. Mary's has got to be feeling. They definitely want to get it back to the St. Francis goal because that defense has been resting up a while now. But here's number 9.
Here comes the off-ball screen once again.
It's going to St. Mary's. At St. Mary's at this point, they really just want to keep it out of the range of the goal. St. Francis has been getting there way too easily, especially on that left-hand side of the goal. They've been coming at Paz's weak side, and they made her pay for it.
Mary's pushing. Stolen once again. Beautiful defense by St. Francis. Mary's gets it back. Mary's trying to push with it. And the ball ends up in Francis's hands. Once again, Mary's fails to capture their moments.
You know, they've had opportunities for sure, but just to get it back to this side of the field would be huge for them at this point because they've only gotten there one time, basically, and it's ended up in a goal. So I think if they could play more offense, that would be fantastic for them. But another shot on goal is going to come here. Number 3 goes around the X.
The off-ball screen. She actually flared out the other side this time. She gets straight to the rim. Beautiful defense by Paz.
That was a good save there. Paz, of course, coming off that 17-save game. They hope she can perform likewise here tonight. But so far, St. Mary's has gotten off to a little bit of a weak start, but anything is possible. It'll be a high-scoring game before, like me and Sven Eisman were talking about. But Kelly, what do you think about the St. Mary's offense if it's going to be captured? Do you think at any point St. Mary's will become the larger offensive force in this game, or do you see it just being St. Francis throughout?
Well, as I see it right now, the key thing is ball movement. It seems like the players who have the ball have been tunnel vision. They see the open players, they're not making the pass, and they're getting double teamed. And one thing I will say about St. Francis, their hands are lightning fast. They are getting the ball loose, and they are running with it.
And they certainly know how to convert as well. I mean, we've seen a couple of yard sales, that, of course, being when a defender knocks it out of the stick of an attackman. But like their ability to convert their defense game to the offense game so quickly is just what's basically destroying the Gales at this point. The goal is a weak spot for St. Mary's right now, as it would be in a normal game. But last game with so many saves, you would hope for some sort of repetition with that. But you know that's not what it's looking like right now.
Charlie, there's two ways to look at that. I don't know if I would call Paz a weakness in the goal right now. She's facing point-blank shots. Her defense is really, you know, it's one thing if these shots were coming out from like 15, 20 feet and she was letting them go in, but they are literally, they're putting in shots that I think just about any goal would have a hard time. I mean, the one really good opportunity that St. Mary's had, and, Antoinette Portnoy made a really strong move, but she ended up in front of the goal, and she put it in pretty easily also. So I think they're going to have to find do a little tweaking of their defensive scheme to give Ariana a little bit more support there.
I would certainly have to agree, because in close is definitely where they're facing the most challenges, but we'll see how it plays out. No doubt this timeout resulted in some sort of game plan change, or perhaps not. So Sven, what do you think about the defensive game for St. Mary's? What do you think specifically they need to change up here?
Well, I'm not going to say I am a lacrosse aficionado, but one thing that might help, because the middle is wide open. A lot of times lacrosse is compared to basketball. I'm not really sure what game plan they have right now, but I would probably try to set up some type of zone. In basketball, a lot of times if you want to protect, Kelly, you know this, when you want to protect the basket, what kind of zone would you play?
If you were trying to protect the basket, you would play a 2-3 zone.
Yeah, 2-3, and one of those people is sitting right in the middle.
Exactly.
And, that might, help to keep people a little bit further out. So we'll see what they do.
And one thing that I've noticed is that the St. Francis also has a set play where they go around the X and they set that off-ball screen. And most of the times, it has worked to perfection. Mary's has not picked up on that. Here comes Francis.
Part of a morale issue right now. I mean, you're down by a decent amount, but it's possible to come back. But at what part do you think morale plays in this now?
Morale is definitely a big part. What they need is one defensive stop, one big play to shift the momentum on the side. Momentum is a big factor in these games. It can turn games around in the blink of an eye.
That certainly holds true as we prepare for another face-off. Portnoy hoping to get it to the other side of the field. We've barely seen it on that side now, as about 10 minutes have passed since the last time it's been on that side.
Here comes Mary's making the push. She stops the ball. Here's the double team, hard double. Mary's going around the X. Good poke at the ball by St. Francis, and it goes out of bounds.
McNamee had it at the X. But again, great double team by St. Francis to try to get it away and get it onto their side of the field. St. Mary's had it where they wanted it, but now it's going back to the Terriers' way. Running with it. Number 11 has it. 24 is open inside. Oh, well, here comes the good double team coverage that St. Mary's needs to be playing.
Here comes the play around the X. This time they're dribbling it out. Taking their time. Here's the cut down the rim, cut to the basket pass, not received. Francis takes it and recovers.
All of this is giving the Terriers also time to set up. Like, people that will score are getting into their positions right now. They're ready to shoot on goal whenever they need to.
Exactly. They've got Mary scrambling, and they're just playing calm and collected. Beautiful interception.
That was a great one indeed by Santos, but she gets tripped up in the process. Santos is going to push it now. Over to Bandari.
Bandari pushing up the court. White calling for it. Bandari keeps on going. Spins off the defender. Gets the ball poked loose. Bandari looks like she has it still. And St. Francis actually takes possession of the ball. Actually, no. Santos has it. Bandari picks it up.
I mean, this is some
Gets it
heavy
to White.
pressure. This is some heavy pressure by St. Francis right now. They want that ball.
2 players on the ball. White blows by him. Attacking the basket. Goes to the corners. White taking it all on by herself. Gets it to the X. And it's poked loose. Picked up again.
McNamee and number 42 on St. Francis Prep got tripped up with it. They're all at the X now. Looks like it will be Terrier's ball. Actually, St. Mary's. Bandari has it. She's close to the goal now. Cutting inside. We'll take it back out.
Tries to give it up. Picked up. Backtracking, gets by the initial defender.
Oh,
And a beautiful shot. And
that was a great goal there indeed.
that might be the momentum swing that Mary's needs to make a comeback in this game.
That beautiful shot there makes it a 6-goal game.
Here comes Francis. Head of steam. Coming down, slowing down, viewing her options. She backs it out. Here comes their set. Setting up. Francis swinging the ball around. Waiting for Mary to make a mistake. Tight defense being played right now.
She had a nice cut there. But again, great defense by St. Mary's.
Here's the help defense. Here's the play coming around the X. Biding their time. Here's a cut to the middle.
Oh, that was an open goal right
And
there.
that's a beautiful cut right down the lane.
As Sven said earlier, they've been getting it in such close range. I mean, they got to change something up here in the close range game to try to get some yard sales, try to take it away from St. Francis Terriers.
Here comes Francis. Charging down. Gets it to the left wing. Backs it out, takes their time. One thing about France is that they are a very deliberate team. They have their set plays, and they follow them to the T.
And they've been finding the right people here tonight to try to get it within close range. I mean, the passes have worked so instrumentally.
Beautiful block, or save, I should say, by Paz.
Paz coming off that 17-point save game. 17 save game, rather, not 17-point save game. Not doing such a bad job here of saving it as well. It's just the amount of close shots they've gotten, St. Francis Terriers have gotten. I mean, you would expect this many shots to go in, though, for any goalie.
Exactly. These shots they are getting, they're very difficult for Paz to deter. And she's been doing a pretty good job on the ones she has gotten.
We got 2 minutes remaining here in the first.
Here comes Santos. Stolen by Francis.
Francis keeps pushing it on this side. Kelly, if you've noticed, I mean, they've been doing that save movement. They'll start at the right side of the net. They'll swing around, go to the X, and then they'll go to the left side. But,
Mary's pushing it up.
Yeah. There's Portnoy.
With speed. Attacking the defense. Fearless. Gets a shot up, but it's off.
I mean, if St. Mary's were to get that many shots with that good of a look, Kelly, then they would be scoring a lot more. But again, the problem lies within the field defense as well as the close range defense on the net. Now, here's 6 now.
Jacqueline James has been very vocal on the defensive end. One of the bright spots in St. Mary's defense.
And a little bit of vocalization is what St. Mary's really needs right now. I mean, sure, it looks like a defeat right now, but I mean, hey, anything is possible. And also, there's a lesson to learn within every game.
Here comes White with speed. Coming down on 3 defenders. Gets through him. Loses the ball. Hits the ground.
Well, now St. Mary's is getting where they kind of want it to be, right? They're kind of getting to their side of the field. More shots coming recently than before, but they have to translate that to goals now.
But you like that they are running that break. Here's Portnoy. Strip. Little miscommunication here. Portnoy fighting for it. Ball's in the air. Tipped and in St. Francis' hand. She loses it.
And the first half ends. So it looks like we're going to take it down to halftime now for a little bit. For Sven Eisman and Kelly Oubre, I'm Charlie Alamo. We'll be right back. Go nowhere.
Sven Eisman back here at St. Mary's of Manhasset, where we have the St. Francis Prep Terriers leading the Lady Gales 9-2. It's been all St. Francis Prep so far. Relatively short halftime, so I'm not sure how much strategy, but every little bit of rest. Again, the Terriers, a more experienced team, an older team. I did a little bit of a recount on the number of seniors that are on St. Mary's. I think I came up with 5. But again, just the physical style of play that comes with 2 more years as a junior and a senior. We have several freshmen, so they're giving a good showing against this talented Terrier team.
Definitely, I can agree. The young freshmen have come out with energy, and it's been nice to see. Now we just have to see them focus it into defensive stops, and this can be a game and a victory for St. Mary's.
Well, if they can play a solid half, to me, that's a victory. 9-2 score. You would figure, Prep's going to put in some of their subs, maybe make the game a little bit more competitive. So, if they can take stuff that's positive away from the game, that's all the better. Who is it? 2 teams have switched sides. St. Mary's now at the northern end of the field, Prep at the southern end of the field. And face-off won by Prep. Number 10 coming straight down the middle. Number 1 that's coming down the middle. She backs it out.
Mary's scrambling to find their man right now. Prep methodically moving the ball around, looking for an opening, setting up their plays.
Paz doing a good job to communicate, does a nice job there. Had a wide open Terrier in the middle. Paz was screaming for her to be covered. She got a little help, and the ball was knocked away, and it looks like Prep still has control.
But those are the defensive stops you like to see. Communication, they get the deflection. They can't get the 50-50 ball, but that's what you want to see from St. Mary's.
And 9 out of 10, the goalie is the person who can see everything. So she's got to be the primary communicator.
Has
Mariana
to be the
Paz
anchor of the defense.
Definitely has the lungs to do that. And balls come up to St. Mary's. Got a ground ball. St. Mary's picks up. Time for a little bit of running time.
Portnoy with speed. Kicks it up the court.
Gets it up to Nikki Kane.
Up the field.
Nikki Kane gains control. Coming around the left side in the X spot. We got a free ball. We got a ground ball. Poked up, picked up, knocked around. Picked up by Portnoy.
Pressure by Francis Prep. Here
Portnoy
comes the
going into the
middle,
goal.
going to the goal, rather.
Kelly showing us some of his basketball roots here. Nikki Kane was the unnamed soldier for St. Mary's who scored the second goal in the first half. Ball on the ground, comes up, goalie ball. Nice little outlet pass, ball's on the ground, Prep comes up with it. Here we go with the full court
head
run.
Down, going all the way. No resistance. They're talking about it, but no one is making the defensive play.
That looked like Jackie James who shut down that lane. Good job. Oh, that was a nice play by Prep. Got a high pass well above her head. Caught it. One shot, one swoop move. Threw it down at the goalie's feet and got a nice goal. Good job by Prep. It's 10-2 Prep. Twice in a row, Brandon. I mean, that's a fast break move, and the fast breaker for Prep is coming right down the middle with nobody on her. That's,
uncontested.
Someone's missing a mark there.
Absolutely. And you can see that St. Mary's, they've been having a hard time on this fast break defense.
Again, part of that, so you're talking about seniors playing against a couple of underclassmen here. You could definitely see a little bit of a higher level of athleticism with the older girls on prep.
Definitely.
Portnoy comes up with it on the foul on 41.
Portnoy.
Brings it down the left side.
All the way to the
Sees a
basket.
little gap.
And
Nice
a
shot.
Beautiful ricochet shot right off the turf. And that is St. Mary's. Antoinette Portnoy getting that goal to go.
That was not one of your prototypical goals where she took a run all the way into front of the net. She made a really nice, that'd be a good 15-foot shot. One hopper, placed it nicely, and that's that's a little bit more of a talented shot than you get when you have to just put it in right from in front of the net. Nice job by Portnoy. In case you're seeing some kind of layer of fog coming over the field here at St. Mary's, that happens to be the famous $1 barbecue that they run at the annual fall and spring night game. Prep pulls it out. They have control.
Here comes the ball screen by Prep. And a nice shot. The ball screen leaves the Prep player unguarded, able to measure that shot and knock it down.
It's a good call, Kelly. Yes, exactly. Number 20 put a ball screen right pretty much on what would be the, I guess, the corner, the top corner of the box. She came right off of it and had a clear lane to the basket. All right, we got a face-off. Portnoy. Midfield. This is by far the nicest day that they probably either team has had to play as far as weather-wise. We're up in the high 70s today with another beautiful day in store tomorrow, but good luck next week. It's supposed to rain, high 40s. Enjoy it while it lasts, girls. That's Portnoy bringing it down the middle. Looking for an outlet. Gives it up to, I believe that's Nikki Kane. Nikki Kane bringing it back to the X. Has it knocked out of her hands. Little scrum on the field. And who are they going to give it to? They are giving it to St. Mary's. Nikki Kane made a quick run, took a 10-foot shot, a little bit high. St. Mary's has control. McNamee in the back, in the X.
Surveying the field. Backing it out, backing it out. Up to Portnoy. Gets deep position, gets his strip. Picked up by McNamee.
Again, just a reminder, the boys' game follows tonight. Boys will be playing Holy Trinity in a league game shortly to follow, set to go off at 7:30.
McNamee. Protected position with the lacrosse stick. Portnoy surveying, attacks, swiped up by the defender.
Nice save by the goalie. She got low, knocked down the block, blocked the low shot. Good fight
Beautiful
there.
tip by Bendari. Here comes White with speed. Comes around the X, surveys our option, sidesteps the defender. Blindsided by two Francis defenders.
Again, yeah, that communication has to exist on the offense also. They got to talk to each other when the double team's coming on, because that means somebody else is open.
50-50 ball goes to Prep. Up the court on the break.
Jackie James is the lone defender back. She does a good job of pushing her outside. Prep gets the 50-50 ball, knocked out of her hands. I believe that's Ella Martignoli playing some good D back there. And that's picked up by, kicked around,
Bendari has it.
Anjali Bendari. She scored 4 goals on earlier this week against Trinity. Prep regains.
Here comes Jackie James.
Coming in on Paz.
Trying to defend the
Paz.
Francis Prep.
She closed the corner nicely there, Paz. Forced it to the back.
Prep surveying their options.
Nice
Beautiful
job by
save
Paz.
by Paz. Collected.
Looking for the long outlet pass.
Gets it up.
Nice
Here
job.
comes Kane.
Oh.
Loses it. Missed opportunity there by Marys.
She had it in her cradle, and she was looking right down the middle for a nice fast break. Lost control though. It's probably like why they call it catch and carry. Some good passing here by Prep. Very sharp, very crisp. Defense closes the lanes. Good job by St. Mary's.
Mary's looking much more energized on defense.
You also see they also seem to be picking up their man. A couple of free cutters. Anjali Bendari, one of the juniors on the team, doing a good job helping out in the middle. Prep holding out the ball wide, surveying the field.
Prep trying to whittle down Mary's defense. Very patient type of play.
This has always been a pet peeve of mine. I mean, you're not really allowed to put any physical pressure on the ball holder. So when they're playing this kind of half-court offense, nice save by Paz.
Stopped.
Head-on shot.
Looking for the outlet pass. Gets it tipped away.
When they're playing that half-court offense and they're just kicking around, you would really love to be able to put some physical pressure on the ball holder so that you can't just look at the field and just make any pass she wants. But girls lacrosse has it where you really can make very little contact. We have a timeout here. It looks like it's St. Mary's. We'll be back in a minute.
I'm just trying to talk, man. I was trying to talk about it. comes Francis. Curran with the aggressive defense. Francis moving the ball around, setting up that offense. Tight on-ball defense by Marys. Gets the ball poked loose, fighting for it. Fighting for it. And that's Patricia Matone with some intense defense on the ball.
Intense defense, something St. Mary's definitely failed to display in the first half. Certainly something we're getting more here now with 14 minutes remaining.
Beautiful interception by Portnoy, coming up with speed. Weaving through defenders, one by one. Kicks it up to McNamee. McNamee having some trouble with the handle. Gets it up there. Tries to split two. And the foul's called. You love the attacking nature by McNamee right there.
And really, Kelly, they got to appreciate the drives to the net now, because any scoring opportunity they can get, really they'll take. Anything could really happen in this game, but they're trying to cut the deficit and hopefully maybe win. Nice little run here by the Terriers. Oh. Another example right there of St. Mary's playing that great double-team defense. Something that the Terriers were actually putting on in the first half. It's interesting to see how that switch sort of went to the St. Mary's side on that. And, of course, right after this, myself, Charlie Alamo, and Kelly Oubre, and perhaps Sven Eisman will hop on the mic one more time tonight to see the boys play Holy Trinity.
Very exciting game coming up.
Now that right there, that would have been a good overhead shot, but one, it went over the net, and two, there was a bit of
congestion in the lane.
Yeah, that's the word. They're in close goal range now. Here's Prep. Prep keeping it on the outside perimeter. Nice little
Prep,
swing around the net.
Around the X.
Ooh, what a good swing around the net. Sidearm shot into the goal. Makes that 12-3 goal count. So we're getting ready for another face-off here. Kelly, what do you think the face-off game has brought to both teams this game?
I think what we've seen is that St. Francis Prep, when they win the majority of the face-offs, they're able to get into the offense quickly and efficiently, and it's led to some success, obviously.
Really, that's the goal of the face-off in general when it comes to the basic rules of the game. And it's not cliche, but perhaps perfect that St. Francis is executing that to the ideal that they want. The fact that they've been able to get it quickly and get it to the other side of the field quickly is the thing that's probably keeping them in the lead right now. Without that quick face-off offense opportunity, they would probably be closer to St. Mary's
Here
score.
comes Curran. Coming down, surveying our options. Coming to the X, trying to make the pass. Gets to its intended receiver, Portnoy. Short range shot. Looks like it's slightly off. And it'll go to Prep. Here comes Mary's.
We got 11
Current
minutes
with it.
remaining in this half.
Prep gets the steal. Wide open lanes for it. James back once again as the final line of defense. She has been playing inspired defense this entire game.
Like I said in that first half, the ability to sort of poke it away, they call it a yard sale on the field, but to sort of poke it away from the attackman is crucial to victory here.
Here comes James.
Oh, wide open people here in Prep's game. Here's number 3, swinging it around the net. She's at the X. Takes it back out. Nice cut inside. 20. Nice shot on goal, but it's a bit off there.
Portnoy comes away with it. Pushing it up. Poked loose by St. Francis Prep. 3 defenders completely suffocating Portnoy right there. Curran actually gets the loose ball. Gets poked away from behind and a foul is called. It'll be Mary's ball.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that's not affecting the game in any way right now, the weather. Just absolutely stellar, and the best you could ask for on a night like tonight.
Prep controlling out of the bounds. Gets to the middle of the court. Mary's hustling for it. Here comes Nora Burke in the mix, fighting for it. Picked up by McNamee. She settles down, brings it back. Here's a hard double coming. Portnoy coming. Gets it taken away. Ball in the air. Kane tries to take it. Picked up by Prep. Santos fighting. Santos scuffling. Using her feet a little there. Okay. Portnoy dives on it. Picked up by Prep. And they go the other way. You see White making an effort on the defensive end, getting back to the ball side. Prep in deep. Here's Jackie James once again. The most vocal defender on her team by far. Playing hard defense. And it seems like an illegal screen was called. Beautiful defense by St. Mary's.
And really, St. Mary's needs that type of vocal leadership right now. Not only to sort of understand like that they're losing right now, but also to understand that there's a moral in every loss. The lesson definitely has to be learned here. But again, that comes with time, and I think St. Mary's has done a pretty good job for a relatively young team. Here comes Prep now. Number 4 has it outside though.
Hounded by Matone.
And Kelly, perhaps on an unrelated note, what do you make of the sort of organization of these events together, the barbecue, the night game? What do you think this brings to our community?
I don't think you can bring anything negative from it. The positives are here. You see the great school community, the school spirit being shown, and all in all, I just think it's a wonderful thing.
Another thing as well, you truly do get to see the rainbow of diversity that we have here at our school. I mean, everybody is here, boys, girls. Everybody's coming out to support their Gales, and well, as a commentator for the school, you gotta love it.
Definitely. And I can tell you right now, the feeling that these girls are experiencing right now is precious. Here, once again, is Portnoy bounding right up the field. Tries to make a slick bounce pass across the X.
And with the game just about wrapping up, we have 3:30 remaining here in the second half. Kelly, what do you think are some things St. Mary's could take away from this loss?
One thing you can take away is that the freshmen definitely have an unbeatable spirit. The notable ones are Jackie James and Jenna Curran. They have been relentless on defense. You also have to give props to Matone and Ella Martinoli. They definitely made their impact felt on the defensive end, and you could see it.
Also, another thing too, sort of taking these L's, earlier on, helps them to understand why these things happen. Clearly, today was just a tale of getting too close to the goal for our own team's liking, and obviously they want to change that around next time they're out here.
I think definitely you can see that the St. Francis team was a much more cohesive unit. They were talking on defense, making the right plays at the right time, and had a more flowing offense as a whole. However, I think that the St. Mary's team is rife with talent, and as time comes, that's the only way to improve, and they're definitely going to improve.
Also, I think you could make a case for both teams really about the communication. I mean, some incredible vocal leaders on both teams, but especially for St. Mary's. We've heard a couple of yells up here from the broadcast booth, and we're 2 stories up. So, I mean, when you have that type of vocal leadership, I mean, that's got to be incredible for a young team, especially when freshmen are calling the shots.
Exactly. It gives the team a direction, and that's crucial in these games where it changes at a moment's notice. And still, Mary's still fighting hard. White can't keep control of the ball. Mary's has possession.
How do you think a game plan changes after a loss like this? Do you think there should be a major shift in the way they're playing the game right now, or do you think that there just needs some minor tweaks, minor fixes? What do you think?
Well, I believe the game was a little bit of a wake-up call. These are something you can take notes from and improve on very quickly. Once again, you can work on being more cohesive on offense, talking together as a unit, and just doing that makes you that much harder to guard when you play as a team all the time.
Most definitely. And the clock's winding down a bit here. We got 30 seconds roughly remaining. Everybody on the ground is ready to send it over to the boys' game versus Holy Trinity. That's sure to be an exciting one. We hope you stay around for that one. And with that, the game ends. A notable loss for St. Mary's, but there are sure some lessons to take away from it. I'm sure they'll bounce back. For our fantastic crew, Phil Sutherland, Sven Eisman, Kelly Oubre, and I'm Charlie Alamo. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you join us for the next game.